From Detroit's University District, it's Tuesday, February 26, 2019. I'm Jer Stays.
And I'm Cheyenne Oserini. This is your update edition of Your Daily Detroit, sharing what to know and where to go in Southeast Michigan.
Fiat Chrysler today made official its plans to build a new assembly plant on Detroit's east side. There it'll build the new next-generation Jeep Grand Cherokee and an all-new 3-row full-size Jeep SUV. The company made the announcement as part of larger plans for several plants in Michigan. FCA says it plans to convert the two-building Mack Avenue Engine Complex into the new assembly plant. It also plans to retool its Jefferson North assembly plant to build the Dodge Durango and next-generation Jeep Grand Cherokee. The two projects would create an estimated 5,000 new jobs in the city through an investment totaling $2.5 billion. The Mack Avenue project would be the first new automotive assembly plant built in Detroit since Jefferson North in 1991. It'd also reportedly be the first built in Michigan in 13 years. City officials will work to assemble the land parcels for the project within 60 days and put together a community benefits agreement with the local community. The final development agreement is also expected to include an incentive package tied to the investment. If all goes well, construction would start by mid-year, with the first 3-row Jeeps rolling off the line by the end of 2020, followed by the Grand Cherokee in 2021. The two projects were part of a larger announcement totaling $4.5 billion. Fiat Chrysler's Warren truck plant will also see upgrades, as will stamping facilities in Warren and Sterling Heights. In a statement, Governor Gretchen Whitmer hailed the announcement and its promise of nearly 6,500 new jobs.
For the next 3 years, Forbes will be holding their Under 30 Summit here in the Motor City. The announcement came at a who's who event, including city, county, and state officials and billionaire owner of Quicken Loans, Dan Gilbert. The first installment here in Detroit will take place on October 27th through the 30th, 2019. Forbes says that the summit will bring together, quote, the best minds across industries, venture capitalism, public policy, and more to learn, network, collaborate, recruit, and exchange ideas. The Under 30 Summit has been in existence for 6 years. It will be sponsored by Rocket Mortgage and promises to include, beyond the conference tracks, a world-class music performance and a food festival with top chefs from around the world. Thousands of people are expected to come to Detroit for the conference. Forbes also puts on the Under 30 Global Women's Summit in Israel, Under 30 Asia, and Under 30 Europe. Detroit will be in the flagship city for the series.
The Michigan Department of Environmental Quality has issued a violation notice against the Marathon Oil Refinery in southwest Detroit. That's after residents in neighboring Dearborn, Detroit, and Melvindale complained of smelling foul odors on February 2nd and 3rd. In the judgment issued Friday, MDEQ said the odors were, quote, of sufficient intensity, frequency, and duration, end quote, to warrant a violation, which carries no financial penalty. Marathon found that the source of the odors was a flare at the facility that wasn't functioning properly due to the extreme cold. They have until March 15th to correct the problem. According to a recent report by the University of Michigan, the refinery sits in the most polluted zip code in Michigan, 48217. That's just on the south side of the Rouge River, centered at about 4th Street and Schaefer and the Fisher Freeway.
The Detroit Public Schools Community District is reclaiming 3 of its buildings from charter schools and 1 from a church by ending their leases. That's according to Chalkbeat Detroit. If the plan is approved by the school board, the district would also spend an additional $3 million to rehab the buildings. 3 of the reclaimed buildings would then be used as Detroit public schools. The plan is to take market share away from charter schools. Detroit School Superintendent Dr. Nikolai Vitti says it's a bid to get more students to attend DPS schools. He says 50,000 students that live in the city currently attend charter schools, while another 20,000 leave the district for other options, such as schools in the suburbs. We'll have a link to the full story with a list of schools affected in the show notes.
2 recent actions by Detroit City Council have made some waves. First, Council Member Raquel Castaneda-Lopez has requested that the Ilitch family's Olympia Development provide a report on the progress so far on their District Detroit initiative. There's a large gap between what was promised and what's been delivered in the neighborhood surrounding Little Caesars Arena. Castaneda-Lopez, who represents Detroit's 6th district, cites the promised redevelopment of the historic Eddystone Hotel within a year of arena construction. It's now been 2 years, and, well, nothing's happened. Castaneda-Lopez has also requested a detailed list of all promised developments and their current status. The district she represents includes the District Detroit. The arena and surrounding development has received hundreds of millions in public subsidies and other governmental support through the Downtown Development Authority. Critics have pointed out that while Olympia promised European-style redevelopments and new construction, for the most part what's been built are high-profit, landscaped and fenced parking lots and massive parking garages. Olympia has mostly not commented on the situation. In a previous episode, we had public relations expert Matt Friedman on to talk about this regular lack of communication, and we'll link to that in the show notes.
The second item is bike lanes are back in the news. City Council President Brenda Jones issued a memo requesting that a new ordinance be drafted to prevent the creation of any more bike lanes in the city of Detroit without City Council's express approval. Some residents and commuters continue to complain about the expansion of bike lanes across the city. Both of these stories will be ongoing over the next few weeks, and we'll be sure to keep you updated.
General Motors and Ford have both entered into agreements with DTE Energy to get a large portion of their electricity through renewable energy. Ford says its Dearborn truck plant, Michigan assembly plant, several new buildings on the Ford Research and Engineering campus, and on the Corktown campus, including that big old Michigan Central Station, will soon be powered by 100% renewable energy. That's in addition to the 500-kilowatt solar panel system already in place at the Michigan Assembly in Wayne. The two assembly plants build the F-150, Raptor, and New Ranger pickups. Meanwhile, General Motors says its agreement will be enough to power 100% of the electricity needs of its Warren Technical Center and its operations at the Renaissance Center. The 300,000 megawatt hours of wind power GM will be using are equivalent to the amount of power consumed by nearly 30,000 U.S. households per year. Both companies are working through DTE's My Green Power initiative. In January, DTE received approval from the Michigan Public Service Commission to expand its renewable energy program to offer the option for large corporate and industrial customers to be charged extra for renewables. Basically, the customer agrees to pay a higher electricity rate, and that money goes towards getting that power from sources like wind and solar.
Buddy's Pizza is opening its first ever location in downtown Detroit.
Hallelujah.
That seems incredible for a brand that launched on 6 Mile and Conant in Detroit as a blind pig in the 1930s. But here we go. Buddy's announced on social media that it's opening a location in the Bedrock-owned Madison building in the former location of Angelina Italian Bistro. There's no opening date as of yet.
It was kind of exciting. We had that presser earlier in the day, and it just happened to be literally upstairs from the new Buddies.
I know.
So pumped. Went in there. They've already got plans out. I didn't get to see too much, but looked in the window. They've already got workers going. That's pretty exciting.
I know. When I was walking from where I parked, I was like, oh, there are men and women walking in and out of the doors. Oh, what is happening? Oh, it must be Buddies.
Well, there's been so much speculation the last few months.
So much speculation. I mean, this is like the worst kept secret.
I mean, how many tipsters?
So many tipsters.
Thank you, by the way, all the 20 people of you that sent things to us. And then the free pad things, and then other people had things.
And I know we've even talked about it.
But there's one last detail that's not known.
What?
The opening date. That's not been set yet. The owner of the popular Flowers of Vietnam restaurant, which originally started in Coney Island in southwest Detroit, will launch a new venture on Michigan Avenue. It'll be in the Grossfield building, which is very good looking, but in pretty poor shape. Annalise Frank at Crane's Detroit Business reports that a turreted commercial building on Michigan Avenue and 23rd will turn into retail, 19 apartments, and the aforementioned restaurant. The new restaurant will highlight food from the lesser-known regions of Mexico. A link to the story with more details and pics will be in the show notes. I gotta say, Shai, how many times have we driven down Michigan Avenue? I used to live over there by Michigan. Seeing that building. There's so many buildings in Detroit where you just have that idea where it's like, that could be something cool.
Right.
Or now it's going to be something cool.
I wish I had the money so I could renovate that building.
Alas, we are lowly writers and podcasters.
Right.
But this is exciting news, and there is development spreading west. There's that Detroit Optimist Society thing happening that's Korean-Japanese concept. And then there's the recent opening of Lenoria. Well, that'll do it for today's show. A little programming note, Thursday we'll be at the Detroit Policy Conference. Me, Cheyenne, Sven. If you're going, be sure to say hi and look for our banner with the big Daily Detroit shield.
With that, thanks for listening. I'm Cheyenne Nosarini.
And I'm Jer Stays. Sven will be back tomorrow. Take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.